Hey guys, it's Alyssa and I am back with another video. It is Vlogmas day 12 and today we are going to be planning out a little schedule for my 2025 drops. Alright, so I kind of already have a plan for January, so I'm going to go ahead and write that down on my little sheet of paper here. So January, I'm envisioning new beginnings as the drop. And I'm thinking of things like whites, creams, beiges, soft pastels, maybe like greens, maybe some blues, just colors that represent everything like bright and just exciting as we're going into a new year. So that's kind of the vision of that. I'll try and put some like images in these in the different sections of this video so that you can kind of see some of the inspiration of what I am going to try and source for each of these drops. I already have sourced a little bit for this January drop and I am so excited for it because all of the pieces are so pretty and go great together. So yeah, that is the January drop, New Beginnings, and that'll be coming out on the first Tuesday in January, which I think is like the 2nd. So it's like right after the new year, this drop is coming out. So I'm really excited about that. So now let's move on to February. For the February drop, I already have a kind of a plan for this one as well. But I've been kind of rethinking the plan. So originally I was thinking of doing a red color theme drop and, you know, doing that for like Valentine's. But I'm thinking maybe I want to mix both red and pink together because I feel like if I go fully red, it might not look the best in pictures if it's just like red blobs, you know what I mean? Or just red items all together. But if you mix it with like red and then a lighter pink color, I think it will really pop. So I'm thinking of doing a 2-color themed drop and that'll be the mix of the red and the pink. All right, now let's move on to March. Now, March is something where I don't entirely have a full idea and plan, but I'm thinking it's early enough that people will probably start shopping for Easter. So I'm thinking an Easter themed drop would be really cool for March. So think about pastels, bunnies, anything vintage that looks Easterish, you know, maybe even some Christian inspired stuff like some cross scenes or cross art or something like that. If I could get some wooden carved crosses, that would be really cool. I've never been able to really find any stuff like that that's truly vintage and something that fits my aesthetic, but I think it'd be really cool if I could find something that mixed in well with that. But for the most part, it's going to be a pretty bright drop, I would say, with the pastels and like Easter bunnies. And I already do have a few pieces that are going to be for that Easter drop with the bunnies. So that will be a really fun one. All right, now let's move on to April. And April showers is something that I thought would be really cool to focus on. So I thought it'd be fun to do spring, you know, just everything spring, colorful and stuff for May. But for April, you know, it's kind of like one of those rainy months. So maybe April might be a great place to do another blue themed drop. I had a lot of fun doing the blue themed drop last July. And so I think it'd be really cool to do it in April and then have May be the flowery floral drop. So for April, let's go with the blue themed drop. Don't know the names of these ones yet, because sometimes the names just come to me out of nowhere. You know, like the Falling For You drop, which was my August drop earlier this year. And the Summertime Blues was the one that we did for the blue themed drop. So I just kind of come up with different names. Sometimes I don't come up with names at all. But as you can see, for January, I already had a name, which was New Beginnings. But for the rest of the month, I'm not going to try and force coming up with a name currently. If you have any ideas, you can let me know in the comments down below. But I'm just kind of getting on paper a concept so I can, you know, source, I can brainstorm, and then eventually I will come up with a name for each of these drops. All right, so April is the blue themed drop, and then May is going to be the floral drop. And I am so excited for that because I think it'll just be so fun to find floral items stuff, maybe even some like embroidered art. That I would love to get more embroidered art, especially with florals on it. I just think that would be so fun. So think colorful, think floral, think grandma for sure. All right, now let's move on to June. And last June, I did a 4th of July drop, which actually did really well. I think I sold pretty much all of the items that dropped on that 4th of July drop. So that is like a patriotic drop. So I'm going to probably do that again with a patriotic themed drop, because right around June is when people would start looking for items to decorate with for, you know, the 4th of July. So it'll be a patriotic drop in June. All right, then for July, last July, like I said earlier, was a color drop, and that was blue themed. And I thought it was so fun, so beautiful. It was definitely one of my most cohesive drops. I loved every single piece in that one. There's still a few pieces left. I think maybe 1 or 2 pieces left from that drop, but it was a bigger one. So I had a lot of fun sourcing that, and it just gives me a lot of joy to know an idea. And, you know, when I'm going sourcing, it just gives me so much, you know, help to be like, okay, these are the drops that are coming. So this is what I'm looking for. So I'm not just like, distracted by everything, because you don't need to get everything. And I think it's just so much fun to shop for a specific theme and drop rather than just shop for everything. Now, there have been times where stuff I've bought doesn't exactly fit theme, and so maybe I'll save it for later, or I will just, you know, hold on to it until I come up with a theme that fits for that. All right, so for July, I think it'd be fun to do another color theme drop, but this time, instead of blue, I think it'd be fun to do green. Obviously, the summertime also brings some really, really fun green colors. Not so much for Ohio last year, which is where I live. Ohio had a really bad drought, so hopefully this new year will not have that over the summer. Hopefully we will have good rain, and we'll have lots of green, you know, trees and grass and the corn and all of the things that are green in life. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. It would be fun to do a green themed color drop. All right, and now let's move on to August. Since the fall drop was such a fun one from last year, I think we have to stick with the August fall theme. Not only is August the perfect time to drop that stuff because we're still in summer, it's still hot, but we're kind of looking forward to those fall months. It's also just like, it's just so perfect because August is when you kind of start thinking about that change of the season. So yeah, August is going to be definitely another fall drop, and I'm for sure going to have another fun name for that one. Like I said earlier, the one for this year was the Falling For You drop, and it was all very romantic and lovely and beautiful, and all very like orange and green and brown, like all those fall colors that we love. Okay, now moving on to September. I really don't have a clear thought in my head for September. I've thought about doing another color drop. Last September, I did the pink themed color drop, which was really fun, especially so soon after the blue drop. It was like, oh, this is fun, you know, just did blue and now we're doing pink. But I do think I might want to go more thematic with this, in the sense where I will stick with some type of aesthetic versus like a color. So I'm thinking maybe I might try and do like a cottagecore drop. So something that's inspired by cottage living and, you know, homey and just cozy home decor, that type of stuff that just all goes together and just makes you feel so warm and cozy inside. So I think that's what I'm gonna go with. Yeah, I like that idea. Cottage core for sure. And that is not the name of it. It's just the cottagecore drop for now. All right, moving on to October. I didn't really end up having a drop in October this past year. I was planning on doing a spooky drop, but it just ended up getting delayed to the point where I just couldn't do it anymore. Like, it didn't make sense to drop those things. And so I just kind of pushed them to the side, and I even dropped one thing in the November drop because November didn't really have much of a theme either. It was just, it was hard those 2 months, in all honesty, this past year. Mainly because I was moving, as I've said many times in some of these videos, but also because I was doing live markets, and I just did not have the time to go sourcing and to really like thoughtfully put together a collection for each of those months. So I am hoping for something better this time around. So October, I would love to do another spooky themed drop. And I'm thinking, instead of having a lot of like kitsch type of stuff, instead I'm gonna go with more of like the gothic type of thing. Maybe like some really nice black goblets or something, you know, like just really classy, you know, stuff that you could see at like a Halloween dinner party or something like that. So not as much of like the kitsch home decor, but more of the classy home decor that just fits in with the spooky vibe. All right, then for November is one of those weird months where we end up with 2 drops. So this past November, I had a mini drop at the beginning of the month, which was on the first Tuesday, because every drop I do is on the first Tuesday of the month. And then I had my Christmas drop for Black Friday. So I think I'm gonna stick with that, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to do a bigger Christmas drop and break it up into 2 parts. So the first Christmas drop will be that first Tuesday of November, so it's going to be Christmas part 1, and then Christmas part 2 will come out the day before Black Friday, so it comes out on Thursday night, but I'll just put Black Friday here and put Christmas part 2. So November is one of those crazy months where it just ends up happening like that, you know, where you have 2 different things, 2 drops, but I would like for them to be, you know, themed together. I think that would be really fun. All right, guys, now we are on to December for our last drop of 2025. And I have to say, I had a lot of fun doing the New Year's Eve drop with the whole celebration theme and getting really cute glasses and stuff that just all went together so perfectly. It was a lot of fun. So I'm thinking of doing that again, where it'll be another New Year's Eve drop and it'll be inspired by celebration, party, and just having fun. All right, guys, so that's my drop calendar for 2025. We got January with the new beginnings, February with the red and pink color drop, March with the Easter drop, April with the blue themed drop, May floral drop, June a patriotic drop, July the green themed drop, August another fall drop, September a cottagecore drop, October a spooky themed drop, November, at the beginning of November, a Christmas part 1 drop, and then Black Friday, Christmas part 2, and then for December, a New Year's Eve themed drop. So I'm so excited for 2025 with those drops. Thanks so much for tuning in with me and my cat just attacked my Christmas tree. Oh my gosh, she's crazy. All right, well, thank you so much for tuning in with me for that. She's going crazy with some ornaments right now. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow for Vlogmas Day 13.